Well, if that TAG2 ending did not surprise a bunch of people with the twist, we're going to talk about so much regarding the ending today, where the Doomslayer is now and where he's going, and alternate endings that would be cool to see. And what about all these other people? What happened to Samur? What about the Intern? Father, what's up with him now? He's changed. The Wraiths are going to be a huge thing. Devoth, there's so much to talk about. Get ready, because we're going to start it right now. Before we go any further, I have to break a rumor down. People are saying the Doomslayer's dead. No, I do not believe that he is. When he gets laid into that coffin, there's a few things you have to look at, all right? You do see it from his perspective. As that door closes, you see it from his eyes that he looks out of. And in addition to that, if you listen closely, you hear a heartbeat when the coffin shuts. We'll take a look. Those things make me think that he's alive. It's not just that either. That Korax entry 717, may the blood on your sword never dry, may we never need you again, that is a callback to the very beginning of Doom 2016, the first mission, UAC Rip and Tear, and now we're closing out, coffin to coffin, 717 to 717, we're closing it out the same way we started, almost like a time loop. There's another game I played with an awesome ending, I'm not going to spoil it, called Dusk. That's what it reminded me of. Now, when I first saw this, I thought Doom Guy died. Don't do it. Don't do it. What? Are they gonna sell me away again? It's gonna be back in there again. And I was a little upset, but he actually didn't. Now here's the thing, the reason this is happening, they use him as a weapon only when he's needed. That was the whole point of this whole thing. Samuel got him out of the coffin in 2016. Hey guys, we got a problem. Doom Guy solves it. Everything is done. Devoth is dead. Well, back into sleep you go. He is a weapon. That is his purpose, and it has been fulfilled. So now he takes a nap and rests his weary fist, as the achievement says. And now we finally know what that means. So here's a twist on it, though. Now, we know Hugo's a huge fan of Doom 64. So I expected, what if the Slayer woke up actually in hell, like in 64, or he was sent there to slay demons, Doom 64 style, since that's Hugo's favorite. And then you could have the third Doom game continue the series on in that classic Doom, as you could look at 1 and 2 and 64, Mars, Earth, heck. And well, what if it was Doom 2016, Mars, Doom Eternal Earth, New Doom, Infinite, Eternally Forever in the hell setting? Huh, I don't think I'd want a game fully in there, despite some of the crazy concept art we've seen out on Twitter, but still yet, I thought it could go that way. There's so many questions we have about this twist in the lore and what to make of it, and where are all the others now? And do subscribe to the channel and like the video for more Doom Eternal news and breakdowns. We know that the Seraphs are referred to as ancient gods, but I'd like to know more about them. Is someone over them? What about the Wraiths? There's just so much to talk about this Maker Wraith thing, but we have to talk about the big twist and what could have also happened in the ending. This big twist here basically invalidates the entire TAG1 lore, but if you pay attention, it makes sense in a way, because TAG1 lore was entirely the Book of the Seraphs, written by them. And I even read the whole thing as a bedtime story, almost ASMR style, just kidding, but check it out, I'll link it up there. So it makes sense. The makers, I looked at all the codex entries for TAG2, and just to keep it simple, the makers are upset, and basically they rewrote history. History is declared by the winners, as they say, so everything in Tag 1 was a rewritten version of what actually happened. Now, I will say, it is, as we get into the alternate endings that you should check out, it's weird having the bad guy as a godlike figure. There's more on that, though, that I think we need to talk about, and you know what? This tweet here perfectly sums it up. Zach Hunter says, "That's the point. The Father is not God, and neither is Devoth." Devoth is Lucifer and was created by an even higher being, the true God. The Father, or VEGA, is just an entity made by Satan, not God. Well, we know that Doom has, since 1993, taken from Bible references, and Lucifer is a fallen angel in that sense, so Devoth is probably the same thing. I think old Devoth, or Dave as he's called, the Dark Lord, has a God complex. He thinks that he is this perfect, powerful deity, and he could rule over everything, and he's the best, which clearly he's not because he's dead now. But that's beside the point. And maybe he does have some of the supposed power, but he's not this perfect thing. Maybe he got backstabbed by Father. Maybe he's just a little too crazy in the head. That's just the thing about it. He says he is this figure. He is not. He thinks he is. That's what they all say. It's all the same. Father, he thinks he is. We thought he was like this creator, and I'll be talking more about the VEGA and the character arc and how VEGA changed over the years, but maybe VEGA's not actual father like he says he is, and if the makers really are the bad guys, well, are we really supposed to believe him? Who do we believe now? It's all been turned on its head. There's so much that we did not expect coming into this thing. And if we look here, I mean, if Father's bad, if Devoth is bad, someone made them and someone is over top of them. But wait, look at Novotic's tweet. Who is the mysterious voice since it's confirmed not to be Devoth? We'll talk about that in a second. Where's Samur and the Father? Why are Seraphs so prevalent in part 2? Who and where are the other primevals? And most importantly, who creates the primevals? There is something bigger and greater out there that we have not seen. This Doom story arc that started in 2016 and Eternal is done, but Hugo and the team want to make a Doom universe, and it's expanding and becoming ever greater. We have now had a full-scale Helm's Deep, battle at the end of Amora, and it's just getting greater. There's more out there we have not seen that could be set up for a future Doom game. I guarantee it. What about the Wraiths? What about what Midnight said here? This just in, the Dark Lord, which we know as the creator of all beings in the Doom universe, is not the true god. There's still an entity beyond him, one that we will probably explore in the next Doom game. Time to wake up the Slayer again. What about that intern? We'll talk about him here in just a second. So basically, there is more to the story, and I think the Wraiths are going to play a part from 2016 to Eternal to TAG2 to now. Now, I still want to talk about the intern, where he's going to be, and something we need to talk about. Let's jump to the Wraiths real quick. It's very open. It's not a crystal, it's a ship. And the Wraiths, the elemental Wraiths in Dunur, that were highly revered by the Sentinels, they were pretty much like worshipped by them. They were the top guys there. And if this is one Wraith that is encased in this, what about all the other Wraiths too? What about all these super powerful beings that are resting? It's a little different than the Urdak beings that we saw that are encased and resting in a sense. There is so much that has not been revealed yet. So much that could happen with the snap of a finger. Things could be revealed like we have never seen before. What powers lie out there, unawakened and unrealized? There's so much more to this Doom universe that's being crafted that we have no idea exists. And what about the Amora icon being Forsaken Urdak? What's up with that? Back in December, I predicted that we would go to Amora and Jakad and things like that. I called it. I should have made a video on it. I didn't. I'm kind of kicking myself now, but I did truly on December 1st when Super Gornus Master Level came out. And to prove there's more, what about the 6 Archdemons? What about all of this stuff that we have not seen yet? Devoth is a Dark Lord. He is not the Dark Lord. There are more than just one. In 2016, the one that convinced Olivia Pierce. What about that one? What about the 2016 Codex that says to memorize the Dark Lord's names in order? What about all of that? There's so much more to the story. I cannot stress that enough. But you know what? We need to talk about a few things here too. Where in the world is Samuel? I want to know. He was teleported away and we have not heard from him at all in TAG2. Where is he now? I'm sure he doesn't like us. He's already undergone the transfiguration. We could see that from the final battle, which, by the way, that little thing down the strip, down the center of him, he actually has eye sockets beside of that, so pay attention. You'll never be able to unsee it. Where is he now? I would like to talk to him and see what his viewpoint is of us after we pretty much ripped and tore him a new one, and I want to know what his plans are. The 2016 demonic Crucible prophecy in the Cadinger Sanctum tree that was discovered years ago, some people speculate that Samur's going to come back, take the demonic Crucible, and then become a new Dark Lord of sorts. Well, what about the Doomslayer's Fortress of Doom ship that has the hellish argent energy pulsating through it? What about that? There's so many things that I want to know, but they're tied into this story, and I just don't know where to go with it. There's so many things to talk about. What about another ending potential idea? One of my friends had a perfect one. He said this: I think they would have been better off crowning him as a Sentinel King and just having a final cutscene showing the Sentinels with the Slayer fighting demons in hell, just like the end credits of 2016. Would have been way more satisfying. The Siege of Amora started it, and it was seen through. For a big game that's all about the power fantasy, having a big, over-the-top, exciting ending, it makes a player feel awesome about it, like 2016's credits or Eternal. And I agree, that would have been such a cool send-off for the Slayer to just go, take the Sentinels, finish up that Amora siege. What happens after the Dark Lord? What about the siege at Amora? It would have been so cool to see that through and be the Sentinel King ready to take on the next battle when it hits there. that plays into the power fantasy. You know the player would feel super cool if all that happened and they ended the DLC on that boom high note and roll credits, boom. How cool would that be? Just a thought, it'd be really interesting. Another friend of mine, Snavels, has suggested that he thinks he gets it now, that the reason that Devoth wanted the Seraphim to make Doomguy the Slayer is because he wanted Samur's actions to 1, lead to the downfall of the Makers, 2, knew what Doomguy would do with the Father's Life Sphere, and 3, believed that after the Slayer did his dirty work for him, that he'd be able to kill the Slayer. Interesting. But we have to realize, as there's so much to talk about, that well, one thing to keep in mind is I know a lot of people thought that the tree would be the Dark Lord from the Cadanger Prophecy, but we got a taste of who it is. I actually did a video with Salty Cow about how before DLC 1 dropped, it really looked like Samuel Hayden could be the Dark Lord. It's pretty convincing. It needs a stretch, but check it out. It's pretty cool. Well, here's the thing. Mysterious Voice at the end of Urdak, Update 3. Dark Lord, Update 4. Mysterious Voice, Update 5. So people are like, retcon! What happened here? Why is this happening this way? Well, turns out Hugo actually clarified it. When it says Dark Lord, that was from an earlier build before they finished fleshing out the story in its final version. So it was not supposed to be the Dark Lord in the first place. It made a lot of sense considering the deals that he worked with Urdak, but then when DLC 2 came out, it kind of flipped it on its head and we learned what actually happened. But it's not supposed to be the Dark Lord. There's another entity out there in this the final rendition of the story, the version. More powers that lie out there, unawakened and unrealized, just like I'd said before. Now remember, we got to talk about a few things. The Intern, okay? I'm going to make a joke right now that people are going to think is really ridiculous, but I'm going to do it anyway. When we first met the Intern, he was a non-playable character in PC. He was the Arc Scientist of Arc Complex. So I guess you could say that the Intern went from being the NPC at the ARC to the beloved NPC that's the MVP, you see? We don't know how to access his main cortex. It's all alien, and we couldn't figure it out. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that joke. I do not apologize. I stand behind it because I wanted to make it. Too cool wordplay. Where is he now? Oh, it hurts me. You know what? What if we never got to tell him goodbye like Midnight said? I mean, we didn't. We did not get to tell him goodbye. You know what? What if, someone else on Twitter said, what if he dies before the Slayer comes back? What if the Slayer's not needed for another 100 years, which Slayer's pretty much immortal now with the whole Divinity Machine buff? What if he dies of old age because he's just a regular guy? That's going to be so sad. I don't want the Intern to die. He's cool. We get VEGA, now we get Intern. What if he dies before he gets to come back and say hi to him again? That's just going to be sad. I don't know where he's going to go. He was alone on the Ark ship because everybody else ran away. But I assume now that everybody's going to come back and they're going to reconvene. And it's hard to tell what's going to happen to the Intern. Will he get in trouble? Will he get promoted? I don't know. I want to know what happens to the poor guy. What about, we got to talk about Father too. He changed a lot, VEGA did. He went from this passive, happy, innocent AI in 2016. Hello, I am VEGA, the sentient intelligence assigned to Mars.
Hello, I am VEGA, the sentient intelligence assigned to Mars.
To a more straight up in Eternal, there are 2 keys left here. Find them.
2 more keys will be required to open the passage. Find them.
In the Super Gore Nest, to Father, he almost had a whole different personality, which actually VEGA and Father are different voice actors. Did you know that? He became more sullen and morose and it's a different vibe.
You are here to restore order to my world. With the demons in control, you understand the threat they pose to all my creations.
And then he ends up snarky, with the whole line at the end where he's like, all things are made by his hand, even you.
By his hand, all things were made. Even you.
And it's just different because that's not the VEGA we know. Things had changed over time. His personality has changed. VEGA in SnapMap, he was witty. He even said curse words. It's kind of funny. And to add to it, all this time, Father was wanting us and helping and supporting us go to take down Devoth, and then we get flipped around at the end, and it's definitely a surprise. Now, here's the thing. What about the Wretch? The Wretch made our armor. Where is he at? It's wide open. What about that? What about Devoth? Where did his armor come from? You know, a while back, people were like, is the Slayer the betrayer? That did not age very well. Is the betrayer the Wretch? There were so many theories, and it's just wide open, and we don't know who this guy is that made the super armor for the Slayer. I think he's probably a hell like connected creature type of thing. I don't know. I'd like to know, but I'm very curious. And I still have questions about the Betrayer too. When we got the hammer from him in World Spear, he was a ghost. And then he comes out to the Battle at Amora, and he's a regular guy. And what happened to him then? And in the cover art, his hammer was purple. We don't know. Did he die in the siege? What happened? There's been other sieges. There's a siege of Casadura at one time. There are things and battles that have happened. But where this? And what about all the Hell Priests shutting down this Torch of Kings, and it works now, and all the Sentinels I thought they would be dead. I want to know more, and I need answers. Now, in the Discord, which if you're not there, you should join it, totally should, we talked about there was some connection. Was it Roman mythology that it was connected to? I don't know. There's a lot of things that could be in this story. And what about Elena Richardson? What about her? Where is she? What would she think about the Slayer now if she thought he was so awesome at first? Now he defeats the Dark Lord? Yeah, she would think he is really awesome by this point. But you know, we don't know where she is, and I'm curious, I want to know where. Before Tag 1 came out, Hugo said that we would be meeting someone that we had known in our past, which ended up being Samur, the Seraphim. I kind of wondered if it would be her. I mean, just think about it. Between all the hierarchies and powers that be that we've not seen, between Devoth not being the top dog like he says he is, Father not being this good entity and not even the top thing, all they say they're creators, but they're not. What lies out there, unseen and unheard, that we don't know of yet? And how will it tie into this story arc that ended? But there's so much more to be said and seen and done. Hugo said we have not made our best Doom game yet, and that there are more Doom stories to be told. I want to know about these stories, so let's get on the ride. Subscribe to this channel. My name is Allstin, and I'll bring you more videos. Thank you so much for watching. The secret phrase of this video is, Doom Guy says...